Hello and welcome to Grimworks Productions Warhammer Podcast, Perils of the Warp. This is episode number 10. I will be your host today, Roman, and next to me I have...
I'm John.
Alright, and Mark couldn't make it this week, but don't you worry, he'll be back next time when we actually cover 2017 as a whole for GW, mainly 40k, let's be honest with you. And all of that. Now, we were going to do it this week, but we have to do a little more research in it. I failed as the research gatherer. But what we are going to talk about is the codexes that came out. Now, is there anything that you want to say specifically about the chapter approved, John? Because I know that you actually got the chapter approved. I did not.
First off, I just want to say that I really enjoy the way GW is putting out an Imperium book followed by a Chaos book.
Mm-hmm.
We had Dark Angels followed by Blood Angels followed by Dark Angels.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that they're keeping it even. They don't get one unless we get one.
Go fuck yourself.
Chapter approved. It was a bit of a letdown.
Okay. Why is that?
The missions that came in it were really simple.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't an expensive book, so it's not like, I spent $80 on a book and the book sucked.
It's only $35.
It was $35, but it was a little lackluster. I especially hated the fact that once again Chaos got shafted because you can do whatever the hell you want to an Imperial Land Raider, but Chaos you can't do anything. All you have are Last Cannon's sponsons. That's it.
Okay. Which is, I don't know if that's anything to sneeze at.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the main function of a Land Raider is to get your troops safely across the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
That's better than a Rhino is a Land Raider.
Mm-hmm.
To get your troops across the battlefield. It has more wounds, it has a better save, it has a higher toughness. Now, I paid, I don't even know how much Land Raiders are right now, close to 300 points to get my Berserkers and Karn across the battlefield. The hatch pops open. My opponent's like, oh no, what's coming? What's coming is Karn and 9 measly Berserkers. That's what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's all that can fit in there with the Last Cannon sponsons. I would gladly sacrifice firepower for troop capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole thing is just Imperium gets to do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
Chaos, you just sit back and watch the show.
But isn't that how it's always been, though? Like, Chaos just has less... they don't have any new weapons because...
They don't have new technology.
Yeah.
For some odd reason. Because I still don't... I mean, I'm not far into the Horus Heresy books, but I did get past Mechanicum, where literally the entire planet of Mars pledged for Horus. So if that happened, how is the Mechanicum now working for the Emperor? I don't know, because, like I said, I haven't gotten that far. But why isn't there at least still a subsect of Mechanicum working on putting out weapons for Chaos? Also, if I'm on the battlefield and I know I got a shitty fucking outdated weapon and I kill you, I'm taking yours.
No, I think you're maybe putting a little more thought into it than somebody that's just like the Imperium, let's kill, because that's how they are.
Yeah.
Especially if you're talking about,
Well, I mean, it's already been done before, where they took over the big ass tank that the Astromod's Arm has to make the Plague Reaper of Nurgle.
The
Baneblade, yeah. They took over and infected a Baneblade and turned it into a Chaos weapon. So it's not like it hasn't been done before.
Yeah, but the way I see it is like, I don't know, the way I've always thought about Chaos, and the Horus Heresy is proving differently, but then again, that's 10,000 years of, passing, is in 30K, it seemed like everybody kind of thought for themselves. It seems that in 40K, that's not the case. Even on the Imperium side, they don't think for themselves. It's literally like you have your leaders, and that's who thinks for everybody. Just everybody else follows line. So if like Abaddon is like the leader of the the 13th company, or
Which
the Black Company.
Abaddon does care about technology and finding new things. That's what happened on Cadia. You know,
Yeah.
that was the whole reason why Chaos destroyed an entire fucking planet, was because Abaddon wanted one piece of technology that was hidden on there.
Yeah.
So if there is proof of us taking good guy stuff and of us looking for new stuff, why don't we have anything different? We don't even have everything that we had in 30K.
Fair enough. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you're just bad guys and you're not going to get anything. But I don't know. You're bitching a lot for, a Plague Marines player, a Nurgle player that is pretty much getting new shit, has been getting new shit since 8th edition has dropped.
Yeah, Nurgle is getting a lot of good stuff. I'm definitely not going to say anything bad about Death Guard, but that's like, it's Death Guard. You know, they completely took it away from Chaos Space Marines. It's like, that's Death Guard. You can play Death Guard and have the cool stuff, but if you want to play Alpha Legion Reward Bearers, you're still stuck with all the same old shit. You know, I didn't necessarily want Hurricane Vultures on the side of my Land Raider, because obviously that's a new technology. But why couldn't I take something that we already had, and like, you know, I had mentioned Bell Flamers or Ectoplasma Cannons. You know, why couldn't we take those and stick them on the Land Raiders?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just like I don't know if GW's lazy. I think they're just not as forward thinking about that. It's just like Chaos. I think they're thinking Chaos is strong enough right now that they don't need extra stuff. But I don't know. I mean, that certainly wasn't the case in 7th. They were one of the weaker armies in general.
Yes, very much so. And, you know, right now they are doing good. They keep seeing top 10 lists, but it's mostly the same list over and over again. You know, you have to take the Forge Road book with the Renegade Psychers. It's just like...
That's kind of the case with everything, though. I mean, everything is now settled into a meta where it's just like, take a whole bunch of characters, bubble wrap them, and let's go. And that's every army.
Yeah, you know, speaking of that, there was this thing coming out, this thing that came out called The Future of Facts and Chapter Approved, where they're going to be doing big twice-a-year facts.
In March and in September, I think.
March and September.
Yeah.
So they're fixing a lot of things like targeting characters, where the new rule is going to be an enemy character with a wounds characteristic of less than 10 can only be chosen as a target in the shooting phase if it is both visible to the firing model and it is the closest enemy unit to the firing model. Ignore, this is where it gets new, ignore other enemy characters with a wounds characteristic of 10 or less when determining if the target is the closest enemy unit to the firing model. This means that other enemy units, other than characters with a wounds characteristic of less than 10, are closer, whether they are visible or not. The enemy character cannot be targeted. So people like to throw out that assassin, and the rest of their characters behind him, and that's it. You have to kill that assassin.
Yeah.
And as soon as you do, they have another assassin ready to take his spot, so that their big stuff gets saved.
Yeah.
Now your character that's 2 inches in front of another character cannot stop me from shooting at that character 2 inches behind.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. And I know you fucking had some more shit to say about the psychic phase. What's Smite? Go ahead and tell people about that.
Okay, so y'all have heard me bitch before about how boring the psychic phase is right now. But they're making it even worse. You can still only cast... Now, I do want to mention that this is just a thing that they're trying out right now. It's not an official rule. It's out there as a trial and error type thing. So, you can only cast one spell per phase of the same name, no matter how many cyclers know it. Smite being the exception. Well, now, every time you cast Smite past the first time, you have to subtract 1 from the total. So, if you have a cycler that casts Smite, you need a 5 up. The next time you cast Smite that same psychic phase, you need a 6 up. The next time you cast Smite that same psychic phase, you need a 7 up.
Yeah.
Which is a fine way to stop psychic spam, Smite spam,
yeah.
But it still doesn't get it still didn't fix the psychic phase. You know, you still needed more spells, or go back to the way in seventh where you had um, the different types of psychic powers you could use with their sub spells,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to roll randomly, so you wouldn't always get the best power available.
Mm-hmm.
But it made it interesting.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
now it's just like you can cast 2 or 3 spells, and then you're left with smite. And so they're trying visibly
Mm-hmm.
to stop smite spam, but they're just going about it the wrong way, in my opinion.
I don't know another way to fix it. That's my problem. Is I don't know how to fix the that particular phase.
See, because like before, a psyker only knew what he could randomly take
Mhm.
from a certain power. Smite was the Primaris power to biomancy.
Mhm.
Not everybody could take biomancy. You know, right now they're having a problem with Zinch especially and smite spam.
Mhm.
Zinch could not take biomancy in seventh. You could take the power of Zinch, or you could take pyromancy.
Yeah.
So I think the problem is that everybody can cast smite. You need to go back to everybody having their own psychic powers
Mhm.
in their book, and also a shared set of psychic powers
Mhm.
like pyromancy, biomancy, divination,
Well, I
etc.
mean,
etc.
one could say that they're already doing that because there is smite is an all around everybody knows.
Well, that's the thing.
It's a universal.
That's the problem, is that everybody knows it.
But if you just take it away, people are gonna be pissed, right?
Well, you take it away, but you give them more. You give them that shared pool, because codexes do have their own powers.
Yes.
But the fact that you limit them to casting that one power,
Mm-hmm.
Only once per phase, it makes it seem like you can't do anything that you really want to do, because some of the powers are good,
Mm-hmm.
and the other powers are just crappy mortal wound, mortal wound, mortal wound.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just a smaller version of smite.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think taking away smite or anything, or removing smite from specifics or anything like that is the way to go about it. I think this is a smart way to do it because it stops, or it doesn't stop it. It makes it harder for those people to cast those particular to smite, because I think what they have to do is they do have to have more universals that are just a little more flavorful for everybody, like some that make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like smite makes sense. Everybody would be able to everybody should be able, if you're a psyker of any kind, should be able to hit somebody with a lightning bolt. Basically what smite is just hitting someone with a fucking lightning bolt. So there should be more, but there should be more than that. There should be more universal, I think. And the fact that there's 6 for each, for my Blood Angels and the Dark Angels, there's 2 different ones.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own set of psychic powers, which I can actually get into right now. But I don't know. Is there anything else? Is there any other of those rules that they teased?
No.
No.
No. It looks like it was just for right now targeting characters and the psychic phase. That's the 2 things that they're looking at right now.
I don't know. It's just a very hard thing to. That's why I'm not a game developer. I don't even test the games because I know I suck. But
look, for instance, let me show you
Mhm.
here. These are the powers for the Death Guard, since we already brought them up.
Mhm.
You have Blades of Petrification.
Mhm.
You can select a visible Death Guard unit within 18 inches of the Psyker until the start of your next Psychic phase.
Mhm.
Add 1 to all wound rolls made by that unit. Furthermore, any wound rolls of 7 up made for that unit in the fight phase with a melee plague weapon
Mhm.
inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any other damage. That's a little bit of an interesting spell.
Mhm.
Adding 1 to the wound rolls and then giving that mortal wound, it's not a boring spell.
Yeah.
And then you got Curse of the Leper. If manifested, select a visible enemy unit within 14 inches of the psyker and roll 7 dice. 7 because of Nurgle.
Mm-hmm.
For each roll that exceeds the unit's toughness characteristic, that unit suffers a mortal wound, which is basically just smite.
Fair enough.
So, that's how spells have been working, from what I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
You get 3 that are like really fun to play, and 3 that are basically just smite in a nutshell.
Okay, so you just need a little more variety, like you were saying last month on the podcast.
Yes.
There just needs to be a little more variety, and you're probably right on that there needs to be a little more variety. But again, we're just gonna have to see how it all shakes up. I think a lot of things will shake up once they actually get into once they have the all the codexes out, and then they can start doing the campaign kind of books.
Yeah.
So like move around like to move the fluff a little bit, and hopefully that'll shake up a few more things. I don't know what the hell that's gonna be. I don't have any clue what that could be. I'm assuming something Imperium, just because they did some chaos stuff. You know, you got a new Primarch, you got a whole bunch of new units. I don't think that's gonna be the Lion. But speaking of the Lion and Sanguinius. Basically, we have a few things here that I just wanted to cover in terms of like Blood Angels and Dark Angels. And what do you want to hear first, John? Because I'm going to go over some of these exclusive stratagems, because the stratagems actually do some good here.
I think we'll start off with Blood Angels.
All right. So for them, they have the Armory of Ball, Extra Relic Stratagem. Yeah, you just have an extra relic basically, and that's for 1 CP. You can do
2 relics for 2 command points, 3 for 3.
Pretty much. But let's see. Behold the Golden Host. After using Blood Angels, with Death Mask up battlefield until the next start of your turn. The range of the Death Mask ability is increased to 12. So the Death Mask pretty much affects leadership -1, basically for enemy units, I believe, within 6. But now it's up to 12. It's okay. Death Visions of Sanguinius, 1 CP. Use the Mustering Army. Selecting a non-Primaris generic captain, chaplain, or lieutenant, and they get the Blood Company. So we were talking about that last time. Descent of Angels. Use the charge phase for the Blood Angels jump pack units that have been set up on the battlefield that turn. They roll 3d6 for their charge instead of 2d6. This is an ability that is not taken lightly. So
I'm sorry, can you read that again?
Used in the charge phase for Blood Angel jump packs, units that have been set up on the battlefield that turn, they roll 3d6 for their charge, which means
Blood Angels has one of the most powerful alpha strikes that I have seen to date.
Don't worry, it'll get nerfed.
No, like it's not even. I mean, you have to devote a good section of your army to it. It's not something that should be nerfed. I don't think.
I think it will be, though, to be honest with you.
I mean, because you can take Death Company and or Sanguinary Guard.
Mm.
You take a couple of units of each, and you drop them in 9 inches, 9.5 inches, because you have to be outside of 9 inches.
Mm.
You take the named characters of Lamartis, the Sanguinor, whatever his name is.
The Sanguinor, that's his name.
The Death Company jump pack guy, what's his name?
That is Lamartis.
Okay, what's the other guy with the jump pack?
From Death Company?
Or from Dark Angels?
Oh, Commander Dante.
Dante.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take a chaplain with a jump pack.
Yeah.
And everybody, not the main characters, but the guys that you took.
Yeah, your elite choices.
Your elite choices, they can take melta guns.
Yeah.
And with the characters, they are rerolling 1s to hit, rerolling 1s to wound, which is already great because you're Space Marines, you're hitting on 3s.
Yeah.
And you can re-roll your failed charges, and now you can roll 3 dice instead of 2.
Yeah, it's always one of those things where it's a really good rule. I play Blood Angels very fluffy. I mean, they are a more jump packy army. They are a more fast moving army. That's what they are in the fluff, and that's how I just chose to play them. And when I saw this, it was just icing on the cake. I was like, you know what? This is exactly what I needed. I could probably do some work. I don't have the Sanguinor. I don't have Lamarties or the Sanguinor. I don't have any named characters. I just have those. The only named character that I have and I'm making him is Mephiston, and that's it.
Yeah, which I do like that you're making your own Mephiston, because the one the outdated one that's out right now, it looks too Dracula.
I don't know. I might put some horns on him. I might cut some horns off of something and put them on the side of his temples, just like he has. I don't know. I'm trying. I'm gonna work with it because I wanted to make the cape today. So later today I'll be making the cape, if anything.
You should put the horns coming out of his forehead like fucking Hellboy.
But then you gotta curve them all the way till they make a point in the back of the head. And then I had to make fire, and that's just too much green stuff that I don't want to do. But the Red Rampage used in the fighting phase give the Blood Angels characters that charge in the charge phase 1d3 additional attacks for the duration of the fight phase. So that's pretty cool. Though you can only use 1 CP, so you can't use it in the same fight phase. Well, it's a charge phase then the fight phase. So technically you can do Red Rampage with Descent of Angels.
I'm sorry, why wouldn't you be able to?
No, you will. I thought you wouldn't, but you can because they're 2 different phases.
No, it doesn't matter. You can use as many command points in one phase as you want, as long as they're not the same one.
I thought you could only use one.
No, you can only use one of each stratagem, but you can use multiple stratagems.
Okay, fair enough. Then there's Forlorn Fury for 2 CP. Used before the first battle round, but after the game begins. Unit of Death Company infantry may move and advance as if it were the movement phase, so they can get even closer if they wanted to. If you had set them up maybe on the battlefield and didn't drop them in. So that's pretty cool. There's one that involves the Blood Angels vehicles, but it's not very good. Strike of the Archangel. On the turn you set up Blood Angels Terminators, you can reroll failed rolls to hit for 2 CP. Not very great. Upon the Wings of Fire, use the movement phase before moving Blood Angels units with jump packs. You can move it from the battlefield and deep strike it elsewhere. Okay, with the typical limitation. So yeah, alright. Use the fight. This is Vengeance of Sanguinius. Is in the fight phase. When one of your units fights, for each hit roll of 6, you generate an additional attack. So something else that you can use. If you're gonna Alpha Strike and you need everything, just go ahead and use all these stratagems, and you can bust up whatever you need out of there. I know you like psychic power, so let's do some Blood Angel psychic powers. Quickening. This is 7 warp charge. Add 3 to the advance and charge rolls made by the Psyker, and make D3 additional attacks in the fight phase until your next psychic phase. So that's pretty cool. Unleash the Rage, which is 6. Select the Blood Angels unit within 12 and they gain 1 attack. So there you go.
Nice.
Shield of Sanguinius for 6. Blood Angels within 12. And they have a 5+ invulnerable until the next psychic phase. So that's really good. Blood Boil for 6. Select an enemy unit with within 6 inches and roll 2d6. Comparing against the highest toughness value in the unit. If the roll exceeds that value, the unit suffers 1d3 mortal wounds. If the total is more than double, the mortal wounds will become an automatic 3. So
smite.
So yeah, pretty much. Blood Lance for 6. Select a visible model within 12. Draw a line between the Psyker and the model. Roll a d6 for each model. Friend or foe. The line crosses on a 5+. The model's unit suffers a mortal wound.
Smite.
And then Wings of Sanguinius for 5. The Psyker can immediately move as if it were the movement phase, but his move characteristic also increases to 12. That's the one that we were talking about that you can give to the Dreadnought Librarian.
Yeah. And
he can move like a motherfucker. Here's some Warlord traits, actually. Speed of the Primarch.
Actually, I liked your psychic powers, because you only had 2 pseudo smites.
Yeah. At least for Blood Angels. We'll see what happens when we get to Dark Angels. Let's see. Speed of the Primarch. Your warlord always strikes first, even if he didn't charge, unless the enemy charged or has a similar trait, i.e., the Emperor's Children and the Space Wolves. If you performed a heroic intervention, the enemy charges, so the trait is worthless for that. And I'm just reading these off 4chan. They're giving you a good summary of this kind of stuff. Artisan of War, one of your warlord's weapons does 1 extra damage. Soul Warden, you can attempt to deny the witch with your warlord. If you already can, you can do an additional time. So, alright, so just 1 more for that. Gift of Foresight. A Final Pain of 6+. Rerolling 1s. If your warlord has Black Rage, increase it to 5+. And rerolling 1s. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then Selfless Valor, your warlord can heroically intervene from 6 inches instead of 3. So that's something. But that's pretty much like the big things. They have a lot of the same codex type, the cluster mines and all that kind of stuff. I guess we can go to special rules. So they shall know no fear. We all know that. Black Rage, add 1 to the attacks of this model with the rule that charge in the preceding charge phase. Addition, roll a d6 after every wound. On a 6, the damage is ignored. So yeah. So you can... Black Rage is basically Death Company that has this. So they add +1 and they get to roll a d6. If they get a wound, they ignore it. Jump Pack Assault, we all know that. And then the Red Thirst, any turn in which a unit with this ability was charged or made a heroic intervention, you may add 1 to its wound rolls in the fight phase. So that's pretty cool, making it very easy to wound some shit. And the Red Thirst is basically a army-wide rule. Now we're gonna get into Blood Angels, Dark Angels, because Dark Angels are my shit. Let's see, we're gonna get to this right now. Let's go through some special rules since we ended there. We'll start there. And they shall know no fear. We all know. Grim Resolve. Reroll 1s to hit when it shoots if the model didn't move in the previous movement phase. The unit that has this rule can never lose more than 1 model as a result of a failed morale test. So pretty cool. It doesn't matter about our morale. We just lose 1 every time if we lose any at all. And rerolling 1s when you don't move is okay. It's kind of an added bonus if you don't move, but it's not really a big deal. This also does work with Overwatch as well, so
nice.
That will actually help in Overwatch a lot more times than usual. But when it comes to it being like something you should rely on, don't do so. Inner Circle, renamed from the Unforgiven, basically. Give it to all Deathwing units, Ravenwing, Black Knights, and several high-ranking characters. They automatically pass morale checks and may reroll fails to hit against anything with the following keyword. Jink, so any Ravenwing bikes, speeders, anything like that, basically get a 4+ invuln against shooting, specifically, as long as they advanced. So as long as you use your advancing, your Chobo boost, basically, so you instead of rolling your d6, you get a 6 flat out for turbo boost, so they can move 20 inches, and they get a 4+. Good for a cap in a zone.
Good for aren't multi-guns assault weapons?
I believe so.
So,
well,
yeah,
no.
Yeah, I think multi-guns are assault.
Yeah. Multi, no. But yeah, Defenders of Humanity is basically op secure if it's entirely Dark Angels. So we're going to get into some stratagems. Deathwing Assault. You use your Deathwing basically when you set them up on the teleport. When they come in, it's 2 CP for 5 models, and for 6+, it's 3. Basically what they do is they can immediately shoot as soon as they get in, and it doesn't count for their shooting. So they drop in, they shoot, then they shoot again, and then you can assault if you can still do that, which is pretty cool. If you have your even just the regular ones that you get from the Dark Vengeance box have the assault cannon, which is 6, pretty good. I can't say anything bad about it. Fortress of Shields, you use this in the fight phase, the start of the fight phase specifically. If a Deathwing unit contains at least 3 storm shields. All attacks suffer a -1 wound modifier against that unit. So basically, they're so strong that they're going to block your attacks, and it works perfectly with the knights. So
Yeah.
you shouldn't use it with anything but knights. Hunt the Fallen, we already know that. You pick an enemy character, and we all know that. Inner Circle, before the start of the game, target a Dark Angel's Dreadnought or Land Raider against the Deathwing's rule and the Inner Circle, and that's pretty much it. Intractable, I believe is what it's called. Used when a Dark Angel's unit has fallen back. They can still shoot this turn, so that's pretty cool. They can still fall back, especially things like the Black Knights. If you can't get shit done by shooting them and then charging in with your Corvus Hammers, you can use the 2 and you can back it up and still shoot again. So, pretty cool. Never Forgive, Never Forget. When Dark Angel's unit is chosen to attack in the fight phase, you can activate this ability. Whenever the unit rolls a 6+ to hit against Heretic Astartes, so pretty much all Chaos, they make an additional attack against the same target using the same weapon. If it's used specifically for Deathwing, they get an extra attack that are generated on 4+ when targeting fallen units specifically. Relics of the Rock, again, that's kind of a that's more like a universal than just than an exclusive one. You know what I mean? They just give it a different name, Relics of the Rock, but it's the relic one that we were just talking about with the Blood Angels.
Yeah.
Secret Agenda. Now this one actually is super powerful. When playing Maelstrom of War missions before the game begins, you can spend 1 command point to make your tactical objectives secret, and you can only reveal them when scoring victory points. So you're not going to know exactly what I'm going for. You should be able to read the table, but sometimes you can't, and I'm just trying to do something sneaky, which is great. Speed of the Raven. Use the Raven Wing unit has advanced this turn. That unit may still shoot and charge this turn. Combined with the 4+ invulnerable from some Black Knight shooting, that's going to be badass.
Yeah.
Static Shells used when Raven Wing models fires its grenade launcher at an enemy character. Make a single hit roll with +1 to hit. If it scores a hit, the target takes D3 mortal wounds. Which is very good, because this actually makes those grenade launchers at least decent. Those grenade launchers for the Ravenwing, they're supposed to be the Black Knights, and you can take... I have a couple. When 8th edition came out, they kind of sucked. I mean, they kind of sucked in 7th edition as well, but I don't know why I got those. I guess I just needed to just fill out the points, and I like my shit WYSIWYG. But it makes it alright. So you can make a single hit roll with a +1, and if it hits, it's a D3 mortal wounds automatically. So it's kind of like a big melt-a-bomb, basically. The Lion and the Wolf, we all know that one, so won't go into it. And Weapons of the Dark Age is one that I really like. Used with a unit's weapon fire, increase the damage characteristic of all plasma weapons. It's plasma pistols, plasma guns, plasma cannons, plasma incinerators, and plasma talons, aka Black Knights, by 1. So you get a damage characteristic of 2 on normal and 3 if you supercharge. Supercharge can shoot, have 1 shot and 3 wounds. So that's pretty good, to be honest with you. I'll take that. Warlord traits, they're okay. Fury of the Lion, anytime your Warlord charges, was charged, or performed a heroic intervention. Dark Angels within 1, add 1 to their strength for the phase. So they get tougher. It's okay. Courage of the First Legion, all friendly Dark Angels within 12 of the Warlord automatically pass morale test. Not a big deal. Brilliant Strategist, which is cool. Once per game, you can reroll a single failed hit, wound, or saving roll if your Warlord is alive. In addition, if your army is Battleforged, roll a d6 each time you use Stratagem. 5+, you gain it back. So I like it. It's just a way to get more CP. I like Azrael, so I'm glad that he has that rule. Huntsman, your warlord can fire pistols, assaults, rapid fire, and grenades, but not heavy, at enemy characters, even if they aren't the closest model. So,
Put that on Cypher with his souped up fucking pistols.
I don't know. Can I take him in my army?
Yeah, you can take Cypher in any army now.
He's Imperium and Chaos. That's why, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But he's in the Chaos book, right?
Yeah, but he's still in
Imperium. Yeah. Okay, Master of Maneuver, reroll the dice to determine how far Dark Angel's units advances and charges when they are within 6 of the Warlord. Not great. This is just because it's on Sammy to begin with, and this just sucks. Because Sammy already has Turbo Boost. He doesn't really care about rerolling dice to determine that, so it's kind of useless on him. Even on the other Black Knights. Kind of useless. But the last one is Stubborn Tendency. Roll a die each time your warlord loses a wound. Add 1 to the result of the warlord did not move during the last movement phase. On a 6+, the wound is ignored. So if he doesn't move, it's a 5+. Ring Engines and Strike Powers. And this is the last thing we're going to talk about for the Dark Angels, then we'll wrap it up. But Strike Powers, let me tell you, it's called Interromancy, because of course, all we do is interrogate things. So, Mind Warp, it's 6. An enemy within 12 inches of the Psyker takes a mortal wound, just like that. That's it. Aversion, which is really good, is 6. An enemy within 24 must subtract 1 from all their 2 hit rolls against until the next psychic phase.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah, you add that with the Dark Shroud that already minuses it, and they're -2 on whatever you really want to protect. Fucking fine. It's awesome. Engulfing Fear, which is 6. Don't do anything overt by itself. However, any enemy units within 6 of the Psyker that take a morale check must roll 2 dice, discard the lowest result, which is only slightly worse. So this is just for enemies. If you really want to make them fear, it's not very good. Mind Wipe is actually pretty good. Choose a visible enemy within... This is for 7, I'm sorry. Choose a visible enemy model within 18 of the Psyker. Both players roll a d6, adding their leadership. If a tie or if your opponent beats the roll, nothing happens. If you win, that model must subtract 1 from its weapon skill, ballistic skill, and leadership for the rest of the game. If you can do this multiple times throughout the whole battle, and you just keep knocking it down until it's pretty good. I like that. You can just make something, if you play it right, you can make something super powerful and she's just like a weak piece of shit, and then you just fucking bat them down. Trepanation, which is 7, roll 2d6, the result together. If you roll a 10 or higher, add 2 to the roll. The closest visible enemy unit to the Psyker takes mortal wounds from the difference of their leadership and your roll. So you just take 2d6, the higher the better against their leadership, and they just take mortal wounds. So another version of Smite, but just a little more involved and a chance for a lot more damage. Righteous Repugnance, which is 7. Select the Dark Angel's unit within 12 of the Psyker. They now reroll all failed hits and wounds in melee. Put that in. I have a Dark Angels. I have a Deathwing Librarian. I'll just put them with my Knights, and they're gonna reroll everything. They're gonna fuck shit up. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything else is kind of there. With both codexes, we now get access to Contemptor Dreads, Tartaros armored Terminators, as well as Cataphracti, including Cataphracti. What are they? Lieutenants?
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, whatever they are. I call them Masters. That's why, and the Dark Angels call them Masters. So we can get those in there too. That's pretty cool. And then in the Blood Angels, they got the Storm Talons. So they got the Storm Talons. That's really cool. And then the Dark Angels got the Storm Ravens, which again is cool, but very, very, very pricey. So I don't know if I'll ever get one, to be honest with you. Even if I want to drop in a Dreadnought and just fucking fuck shit up with it. But Um, Overall, they are both very good codexes.
Both of them have a clear-cut Alpha Strike.
Yes, the Alpha Strike um, for the Dark Angels is basically Black Knights with Sammy.
A couple of command points, a Librarian.
A couple of command points, a Librarian, and a Chaplain if you want to get crazy. And pretty much take out pretty much everything. The fact that... oh, actually, you could probably take a Lieutenant on bike. Or what's one of the... No, because Sammy already lets them reroll.
Yeah, I think... I don't think you can take a Lieutenant on bike, actually. Because that wouldn't have been in... Because anything on a bike that GW doesn't make, you have to use from the index.
Yeah.
And I don't think lieutenants were on bikes on the index.
Yeah, I don't think it's a lieutenant. What am I thinking of?
The chaplain lets you reroll wounds, but only in the fight.
Yeah, a chapter master is what I'm thinking of. A chapter master can take a bike in the index, not here. But what you can do is Sammy already makes some reroll ones on hit rolls, which negates the supercharge. You can basically spend 1 CP, supercharge all your Black Talons, and then don't worry about ones. Just go ahead and hit. You're going to throw a lot of fucking dice too.
Yeah.
You're going to throw a lot of dice, and it can pretty much do D3 wounds. Or not even D3, it just does straight 3 damage. If you have even like 2, which is like 6 or the Plasma Talons, that's a fuckload. That's 12. That's 12 shots. Supercharging, so, and then it's what, -3 still? It's still -3?
-3, -2.
Yeah, it's just strength 8, -3, damage 3 with the thing, or damage 2, but with that thing. And do that. You can have a Librarian so that they can fuck shit up with like aversion and things like that, so that's a clear-cut one. And then you were talking about the Blood Angels one with the jump pack. So it seems like they are pretty strong. Let's see if the FAQs for these, see how they handle a few things, because that's what they tend to do. Within a couple of weeks, they usually have an FAQ out for the codexes and kind of course corrects a few things. Let's see what that does. It seems like, and I have to talk about just Dark Angels because I play Dark Angels specifically or more. They seem like they work well as a with everybody present. Not because you could back in the day you could take just the Deathwing and they could be fine. You could take just Ravenwing, you can be fine. But if you take just those 2, they're still gonna have a hard time. I think you still need some Green Wing in there, just for like, even if it's just for some scout squads. Dark Angels can now take Scout Bikers, which is cool.
And Landspeeder Storms.
So they have I don't know if you would invest money into or invest points into a Landspeeder Storm though.
Well,
they're open top and they get fucked up real easy.
They still have the they should get the scout roll when you put scouts in it. Mm-hmm. Which means you can deploy further into the battlefield. So,
but Dark Angels is looking pretty good. They just need to. I think you have to, and it's no problem for me because every time we played, I always played the 3 wings, mm-hmm. the Green, Death, and Raven.
Yeah. The only thing, because the counterbalance to the Alpha Strike is durability. Yeah. Blood Angels, obviously, you're going to be fine because they can't destroy your Alpha Strike on turn 1 because you're going to be up in the air hiding. Mm. However, the Dark Angels don't have that. You know, if your opponent takes turn 1 and your bikes are sitting there waiting to be shot at. So it's very important to get those fucking things. Yeah. The Landspeeder that gives them a
Dark Shroud?
Yeah, the Dark Shroud. Mm. And also Azrael, I believe, is the one that gives them a 4-up and vulnerable save.
Yes. But specifically just for infantry and bikes. It's not for everything. Because in the index, it was literally everything.
Yeah. Well, no, you're doing it to protect your Black Knight.
Yeah. They'll be protected.
Yeah, so I mean, he's not going to be able to keep up with them at speed, but he's important to be next to them on turn 1.
Yeah.
in case your opponent gets turn 1 on you.
Mm-hmm.
So now they have to shoot at your bikes at a -1, and you have a 4-up and vulnerable save.
I'm wondering if I should get some company veterans for the for Dark Angels, because I already have some that are just kitted out basically. Well, they're kitted out with the bolt guns, but I use them as plasma pistol, or not plasma pistol, just a pistol and a chainsword. I'm wondering if I should run the double chainsword.
I like using mine.
So you run double chainswords because they get 2 base, then
+1 for each chainsword.
So that's 4 attacks, with Azrael riding with them, because Azrael will always pretty much ride with them in a Razorback. I wonder how that would go. So 4 attacks each, 5. That's 20 attacks. All right. So I got a little thing. I got a little things to do for my Blood Angels and my Dark Angels. So, is there anything else that you want to talk about before we step into hobby progress?
No.
All right. Well, there's nothing else. Then what do you have anything for hobby progress? Have you made some? I know we were doing a little stuff today, but is there anything more?
Well, no. I think the ones for today is probably going to be the most fun one for me. I put together. I have 4 sets of Death Guard from Dark Imperium, and practically none of it put together. When Plague Marines were always my favorite in 7th edition.
Yeah.
So I put together 4 of the drones with the Plague Spitters.
Mm-hmm.
I did some more painting on Mortarion. I'd say I'm about 70% done, 75% done.
Okay.
And put a few Plague Marines together. So that's my hobby progress.
Yeah. As for me, I've been plucking away at the Blood Angels. Been trying to get a lot of Primaris done, and I've gotten a lot more done. Turns out, when you have a lot of time at work and you take a little portable wet palette with a few brushes, you can actually get a lot of stuff done. So what I've been doing is just working on the jump pack Blood Angels. They're pretty much almost done. Just gotta honestly color in their eyes, give them some green eyes, then seal them up, put another put a coat of gloss varnish, then put a wash on them so it kind of darkens everything, gives a little more dimension. But even my Primaris, I've already done with the Hellblaster squad, one of the tack squads. I'm working on the second tack squad that comes in that box. I'm almost done with the Inceptors, the big heavy flying guys. So I'm almost done with those, and then I have some Death Company that I have to do. So that's gonna take a while for the Death Company, but I've made a lot of hobby progress in this month. Me and John made a deal where I put together his Plague Marines, and I get a free box of
Sniper
Scouts, because they are my favorite type of Scouts. Which, well, I think about it, I gotta check some prices. Maybe I can get some Scout bikes. They're the same price. I don't think they are, but
Scout bikes are a little harder to find.
Are they?
Yeah.
All right. Well, either way, I'm gonna get some sniper Scouts because I like those. And yeah. So hopefully, I'm thinking by the end of January, it's a safe bet. I think I should have my whole Blood Angels done, which is insane, but I think I can actually do that. I think it's possible for me by the end of January that I could have everything done. But that is it for this episode of Perils of the Warp. And before we go, we want to let you know about our sponsor. Now, we don't only play tabletop games, we play a lot of, video games. Earlier today, I was playing some Paragon, trying to get some sweet skins for Morgesh.
I did the fucking beta for Monster Hunter World. Y'all need to try it out. Well, I mean, the beta's closed already, but,
I think there's going to be another beta, though.
Yeah?
I think there's actually going to be another open beta sometime, actually next week, I believe. So by the time you hear this, it should be done. Wait, I think it's this weekend, to be honest with you. So by the time you hear this, it'll be done. Sorry about that. But The one thing that me and John always complain about is we got sweaty hands. I know John got a controller condom because he likes that kind of stuff. I only get joystick grips just because I need a little more precision when I'm doing some stuff on Paragon or Destiny when I'm sniping. So, if you want to get a little better at your stuff, go ahead and go to fadegrips.store and use our discount code for 20% off. That is Grimworks, capital Grimmworks. And you can go ahead and save yourself a little bit of money. He does have some big mystery boxes, probably about $60, I believe, for PS4 and for Xbox. They come with a controller condom, 3 of the patented Fade grips, and a few, I think 2 of the Pro, and I think 2 of the Glow. So it's a big actual set. This is gonna be an actual gift for Christmas. Hey, and you can save yourself a little bit on shipping as well. Again, you're gonna need it quick. So go ahead and go to fadegrips.store and use our promotional code for 20% off. Grimworks, capital Grimmworks. And I believe that will do it for this episode of Perils of the Warp. And if you want to get in with the conversation, go ahead and leave a comment below here on YouTube. If you can't do so, or if you're maybe listening on another platform like SoundCloud or iTunes, please rate, review, subscribe there as well. And you can email us at citypod88@gmail.com. And in the title, go ahead and put 40K or something. Something Warhammer related. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So enjoy, guys. Enjoy your time off. And we'll be back to you in the coming year. And we're going to review 2017. Laters, dudes.
Bye.